Folks, there is no shortage of bad advice out there. I'll get into that and then the latest home prices and insights for York Region for week ending October 9th, 2024. I was touring a home recently. This property is not on the market, but I'm touring this home, walking through with the homeowner. The home is being renovated and it's kind of in, I guess, in the middle of the renovation. So a lot of the old stuff has been removed and it's not yet at the stage where the new stuff has been put in. For example, the floors, top floor, main floor is the floorboards. There's no hardwood. The previous flooring that was on there, whether it was tile or hardwood, that's all, it was parquet actually, all that's been removed. There's carpet in the bedrooms, all that's been removed. Just floorboards. There's no baseboards. Windows have been replaced, but there's no frame around the windows. The kitchen, all the cupboards, the old cupboards have been removed because the new kitchen is going in. But there is a stove, there is a fridge. There are no cupboards anywhere, no countertop. What they're using as a countertop is those just simple fold-out tables that they could, use as a countertop. In the middle of the kitchen, there are pipes and electrical wires coming through a hole in the floor. This is where eventually an island is going to go. So you get the picture, right? And I'm speaking with the homeowners walking me through. They're actually, him and his wife, living in the home the way it is. So you go to their bedroom, no flooring except the raw floorboard, but they do have a bed there. Their principal ensuite, the bathroom that they use it's also in the middle of renovations. This is how they're living. And when I start talking to them about, how do you live in it? Most people doing this kind of reno would have actually moved out, stayed somewhere else, lived somewhere else, rented somewhere else, or stay with family and had all this done and then moved back in. They said they couldn't afford to do that. And what had happened is, as they were doing renos, they're now kind of at the end of their financial rope. They really can't afford to finish the reno. So they're halfway through and they can't finish. This is their situation. And going back further in conversation with them, it's not like they've owned the home very long. It's a very recent purchase and they quickly started the renos. And they basically took advice from one of their parents who said, buy the cheapest house in the most expensive neighborhood. And that advice had worked out well for the father. The husband is telling me he's now, that's what he did, and he's got his mortgage paid off, and he's got like so much equity in his home, and so I took the same advice that my dad gave me. He was like really pushing me to buy the cheapest home, renovated, updated it, but the cheapest home in the most expensive neighborhood. Now, I'm telling this story because although the advice is to help, it's so hard to take advice from somebody who did a transaction years ago and is applying whatever worked for them then to today's market. This gentleman's father has a ton of equity in their home because they've owned it for 20 plus years. It's not because of that, I bought in the most expensive neighborhood, I bought the cheapest home, and I'm so lucky today. Look, 20 years, we're all lucky. Any of you that have owned any property, it could have been in the worst part of town. If you bought it 20 years ago, you would seem like a genius today that you made such a great choice. And this is kind of where the problem lies. Like time, it seems that, what's the expression there? A rising tide lifts all ship. Well, the market has changed so much in 20 years. It doesn't matter what you bought 20 years ago, the value is so much more today. That doesn't make you a real estate guru. That doesn't make you a real estate genius because you've owned your property for 20 years. It was a smart thing that you didn't start flipping homes every year or so and getting yourself into trouble and using up all your equity. The smartest thing a lot of these people have done, I'll call them, our parents, old timers, or people that have been in the market for a long, long time. The smartest thing they did, and this is not to diminish anybody, whether they realize it or not, the smartest thing they did was just pay their mortgage, stay quiet, just live and enjoy their home. And over years, they've accumulated a ton of equity in their home. Not because they did anything special, it's because that's the way the market went. So even in this downturn, we'll call it now, where prices are softer, they're still way ahead of the game. And it's some of these people giving advice to everybody. And it's some of these people thinking, look how smart I am in real estate. Look, you're not that smart. It worked out in your favor. That's awesome. But when you start giving advice, you got to look at today's situation. So this house I was touring, yes, there is some merit to find the most expensive area, buy the least house. There is some merit, but not on its own. Then you have to be able to afford to do whatever it is you want to do. Like the financial planning that these homeowners had was absolutely terrible. How come the father didn't get into that part of it? Let's see what you're going to do. Can you afford, even knowing what renovations cost today? You could have renovated your home years ago for $50,000. At some point, that went up to $100,000. At some point, that went up to $200,000. Renovating a home top to bottom today, well over $200,000. Well over $200,000. But if you're not in it and you're not in tune with what's going on today, no matter how well-intentioned your advice is, you're going to screw somebody up. So for those of you taking advice, be careful who's giving you the advice. No matter how much they love you, no matter how well-intentioned the advice is, it might not be great. And for those that you haven't moved in 20 years and you've done so well, maybe it's not you. Maybe it was the market that is making you look good. Not to talk bad about any situation, but man, that's a great situation to be in, actually. The fact that over this time, there's so much more equity in your home because all you did was pay your mortgage and not move and not go after the new shiny car every single year. If you think this video can help somebody you know, please pass it along. If you get value from what we're talking about, subscribe. If you want to speak with me about your real estate situation, selling, buying, it's really simple. There's a link up here. There's another one below this video in the description to my calendar. Click on that, book a time that's convenient for you. We'll talk about whatever's on your mind. Now, let's get into the numbers. Let's jump right in, folks. We're going to be focused on York region in this show, only detached properties, and we're going to be focused on detached properties in Richmond Hill, Vaughan, Markham. These are average sold prices going back for 3 months. We're going to start off with Vaughan. For week ending October the 9th, 34 detached properties were sold. 8 of those were at $2 million or more. Now, when we look at sales, and let's say we block off September, which is the fall season, for a while, sales were kind of flat. 25, 19, then 25, then 24. Pretty steady, right? Around 24, 25. Well, they jumped up to 34 for week ending October the 8th. Is that a trend? Are we gonna see sales continue to grow? Don't know, but 34, it's a pretty good week. We've got to go all the way back to the beginning or mid-June to have a week where we did more than 34 sales of detached properties. Average sold price, it's up from the previous week to $1,674,000. So it is up over the previous week. But when we look at this number, 1674, and we kind of look through the year, it's on the low side of where average sold price has been most of the year. 1674 is 4% higher than where we were this same week a year ago. The median price is 8% higher. The median price is $1,555,000. 34 were sold, 26% sold at list price or more. Listings, well, August to first week of September, listings jump. From first week of September to the second week, September 11th, listings jumped way up. And in this scenario that I'm describing is pretty much the same across the GTA in all the different areas and the different home types. And we've seen listings now come down almost on a weekly basis. Now, for week ending October 9th, we're a little bit higher than what we were the previous week as far as listings goes, but it's not that much. So listings have been coming down, although this one week they did jump up. Active listings over the same period, say that the beginning of September to where we are now, October 9th, hasn't changed much. We were at 535, then 539, then 513. Now we're at 517. So active listings hasn't changed much in 4 to 6 weeks. Months of inventory sitting at 3.5 months of inventory. It seems to be, for the fall market anyways, trending down. That was Vaughan. Let's look at Richmond Hill. 22 detached properties were sold. Those sales seem to be trending up. 6 of those were at $2 million or more, and average sold price over the fall market seems to be going up. We're now sitting at $1,882,000. 1882 is 16% higher than where we were this time a year ago. The median price is 3% higher. Of the 22 that sold, only 14% sold at list price or more. Listings, similar to what I said for the Vaughan market, what I said for the condo market in the previous show and yesterday's show, what I've said in the Toronto market. Listings jumped up and now they're trending down, but active listings relatively unchanged over the last 4 or 5 weeks. Months of inventory seems to be coming down. We're now at 4.8 months of inventory. Here's Markham. 18 detached properties were sold. One of those was at $2 million or more. Markham did not get the memo that sales should be going up. It doesn't seem like that's what's happening with Markham. Sales have been quite steady, actually. 27, 21, 25, 26 for week ending October 9, dropped down to 18. Average sold price, it's down. It's now at $1,583,000. 1583 is the second lowest average sold price we've had all year so far. 1583 is 9% lower year over year. The median price, there's no percentage change from where we were this time a year ago. Looking at the dotted line, both medium and average are trending down. 18 were sold, a third, 33% sold at list price or more. Listings jumped up, but now they're trending down. Active listings, pretty much the same over the last 4 weeks, not a big difference. And months of inventory is up. We're now sitting at 5.1 months of inventory. Here's a quick summary. Vaughan, Richmond Hill, Markham. I do have York Region condos just for reference, but we're focused on the detached market here. You're going to experience a balanced market or a buyer's market because these are averages. So you're going to kind of experience both out there. Thanks for watching. Have an awesome day.